remember, we discussed about this chocolate in our previous video. The name of this chocolate is Ferrero Rocher. We discussed that this chocolate has a resemblance with the Earth's interior structure. So, just like this chocolate has a hard outer covering filled with nut pieces, the Earth also has a hard outer covering. Do you know what it is called? The outermost layer of the Earth is called crust or lithosphere. Crust comprises of the exterior part of the Earth, that is this part. The exterior part of the Earth, this much, and it encloses two other layers, that is this one, mantle, and the central part, that is core. So, crust encloses two other layers, mantle and core. But today in this video, we will discuss only about crust. Now, crust is also called lithosphere, where litho means rocks. So, crust is made up of rocks, and these rocks contain valuable minerals. So, we understand that the outer part of the Earth is called crust and it is composed of hard rocks. So, now let us look at the characteristics of crust. I just mentioned that crust is made up of rocks. So, crust is a solid layer of rocks. Since crust is made up of rocks, so therefore crust is also called lithosphere. Now, as you can see from the picture, that crust is very thin. The average depth of the crust is 60 kilometers. That is, this much is 60 kilometers. So, crust is very thin and it comprises of just 1% of the Earth's total volume. So, the crustal layer of the Earth is very thin. However, the thickness of crust is not uniform. The crust is thicker below the continents and thinner below the oceans. Now, let's look at the temperature of crust. The temperature of crust varies from air temperature at the surface. What does this mean? Crust has atmospheric temperature at the surface. That is, it is hot near the equator or in arid regions, while it is freezing cold in the polar regions at the surface of the crust. Now, we already know that as we go deeper, temperature increases, and therefore at the lowest part of the crust, the temperature is almost 870 degrees centigrade. So, just see that how temperature of crust varies. At the surface, we have air temperature, while if we travel to the lowest part of the crust, then the temperature increases up to 870 degrees centigrade. The density of crust ranges from 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube. Now, the density of crust is very less compared to the density of other two layers, that is mantle and core. Mantle and core are more dense, while the crust is less dense and its density ranges from 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube. So, now let us again understand the characteristics of crust. Crust is a solid layer of rocks. How much is the depth of the crust? The average thickness or depth of the crust is 60 kilometers. That is, crust is a very thin layer of rocks, this much. The temperature of crust varies from air temperature at the surface to 870 degrees centigrade at its lowest part. And finally, the density of crust is also very less. The density of crust ranges from 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube. So these are the characteristics of crust. Now, before we proceed with our lesson, can you help me to answer this question? What is the density of crust? Is it 1.0 to 2.5 gram per centimeter cube? Is it 3.5 to 5 gram per centimeter cube? Is it 3.3 to 8.3 gram per centimeter cube? Or is it 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube? Yes, the correct answer is 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube, because we just read that the density of crust is very less and it ranges between 2.7 to 3.3 gram per centimeter cube. Now, if we look at the surface of the earth, what do we see? We see continents and oceans. So, this part of the earth that comprises of the continents is called continental crust. Another name for continental crust is Sial. Now we also have oceans on the earth's surface. So the part of the crust that lies below the oceans is called oceanic crust. Another name for oceanic crust is Seema. Now, let us understand the difference between Sial and Seema. The thickness or depth of continental crust is 25 km. That is, this much is 25 km. And the thickness or depth of oceanic crust is 35 km. That is, this much is 35 km. So, from the picture and from the digit, it is clear that the Seema or oceanic crust is thicker than the continental crust or Sial. The next point of difference is Sial or continental crust is composed of granitic rocks, and Seema or oceanic crust is composed of basaltic rocks. Now, Sial is rich in minerals like silica and aluminium, and therefore the continental crust is also called Sial. See, from silica we take Si and from aluminium we take Al. So, Si stands for silica and Al stands for aluminium. So, since continental crust is rich in minerals like silica and aluminium, therefore continental crust is also called Sial. Now, oceanic crust is rich in minerals like silica and magnesium. So, Si stands for silica, Ma stands for magnesium. So, since oceanic crust is rich in minerals like silica and magnesium, therefore oceanic crust is also called Seema. So, these are the differences between Sial and Seema. So, Sial is the continental crust and Seema is the oceanic crust. The depth of Sial is 25 km from the earth's surface, and Seema extends below Sial and the depth of Seema is 35 km. Sial is composed of granitic rocks while Seema is composed of basaltic rocks. Sial is rich in minerals like silica and aluminium, while Seema is rich in minerals like silica and magnesium. Have you noticed one thing in the picture? Sial lies above Seema, or it is almost like Sial is floating over Seema. Why so? Now take the example of ice and water. We see ice floats over water. Why so? This is because ice is less dense or has low density than water. So ice, being less dense, floats over water. The similar things happens for Sial and Seema. Sial is less dense than Seema. Why so? Well, I mentioned that Sial is rich in minerals like silica and aluminium, while Seema is rich in minerals like silica and magnesium. Now, aluminium is lighter or less dense than magnesium, and therefore Sial is less dense compared to Seema. The density of Sial is 2.7 gram per centimeter cube, while the density of Seema is 3.0 gram per centimeter cube. So since the density of Sial is less than the density of Seema, so Sial floats over Seema. See, from the picture also it is clear, Sial is placed above Seema. And why so? This is because Sial is less dense than Seema. Now, we have already discussed about the characteristics of crust. Now, let us look at the importance of crust. The first and foremost importance of crust is it helps in sustenance of life on earth. And how so? Crust provides us with soil. Now soil is the medium for growth of plants. So soil is the basic entity for existence of life on earth. So we grow crops on soil. The art of growing crops is called agriculture. So agriculture is practiced on land or lithosphere or crust. Therefore, crust provides us with soil, which in turn supports a primary occupation like agriculture. So these are the first two importance of crust. Now let us look at another importance of crust. Now, we commonly use things in our lives like utensils, electric wires, vehicles, and also mineral oils like petroleum, coal, etc. So, these materials are made up of minerals. So, where do these important minerals come from? The important minerals are extracted from the crust by a process called mining. See in this picture, so this picture shows how minerals are being extracted by the process of mining. So from this we understand that crust provides us with valuable minerals. Now we also know that crust is also called lithosphere. And why so? This is because crust is composed of rocks. Now these rocks serve as excellent building materials. In fact, we have many beautiful ancient monuments that are made up of rocks. So crust provides us with building materials like rocks. So today in this video we learnt about the exterior or the outermost part of the earth, that is crust. We also learnt about the characteristics of crust, like crust is made up of solid rocks. Then we also learnt about its depth, temperature and density. We also learned that crust can be divided into two parts: continental crust, also known as Sial, and oceanic crust, also known as Seema. Then we learned about the importance of crust, like crust provides us with soil, valuable minerals and also building materials like rocks. In our next video, we shall learn about the other two layers of the earth, that is mantle and core. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to our 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubt resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, but it's rewarding too. So register for free now.